Hi, I'm Jordan. I will tell you a recent story about how I decided to change my gender. Yes, that is becoming a boy instead of a girl. Also about what it cost me and why I decided to do it. In general, it all started since my birth. I believe that when a child is born and his parents give him a name, it means his future fate. I know names that symbolize strength, love, kindness, for example. I was named Jordan. For those who don't know, this is a gender-equal name. It is suitable for both girls and boys. Well, you know what I am getting at. That's what happened to me. According to my mother, when I was very young, I preferred cars rather than dolls, and I liked playing with guns more than making clothes for Barbie. And when I got a little older, I had friends, of course. They were boys. As far as I remember, they were easier to negotiate with, more fun to play with. They were not afraid to get their clothes dirty. We could throw dirt at each other and laugh. I was having fun. When I came home, my mother always scolded me for my untidy appearance, the dirt under my nails, on my face, and the terrible tangled hair on my head. She scolded me first, then compared me to my twin sister. Like, here it is much neater than me. Of course, she spent all day playing with the dolls I didn't like and stayed home more often, and I needed freedom, a street, space to run. We were unusual twins. That's what my mother used to say when she looked at me. I knew it was about me, but I didn't care. I only did what I really wanted to do. So when we were even older, my sister became interested in cosmetics, stealing them from my mother, trying on her shoes, walking around the house in my mother's clothes, and I disappeared either in the basement of the house with friends, playing wars, or in my father's garage handing him tools. Then my sister took part in a local beauty contest and, of course, won. Parents were proud of her, and I realized that the more successful my twin was, the more I wanted to do the opposite. But I didn't do it out of spite. Just so it was comfortable and really became happy. Who said that twins should be the same? This was just the beginning of the whole journey. I started noticing that she had a boyfriend. My sister was happy, and I was happy for her. Yes, I loved her. I didn't hate her. We were just too different, even opposites. Well, my sister has blossomed even more. Every night she talked to him for hours on the phone. They walked hand in hand, and he gave her gifts. It was very nice. Once we got to talking with her, this was the first such frank conversation between us. I asked her what it was like to date someone, and she told me how happy she was that it was the best feeling she'd had in years. I wanted to know what it was, too. I know that we are too different. Look, I won't tell anyone. If you want, I can introduce you to my friend's sister. She prefers girls, she said. I was so surprised because I didn't expect such an open offer from her. I thought she would never understand this, but it was nice to know that she wasn't judging me. To tell you the truth, I had never thought about it directly before, not even remotely about my orientation. You could say my twin said it for me. Maybe we have more in common than I thought. Since then, she was the only person who knew everything about me. Then I met that girl. Her name was Jill. She looked like a boy. On the first date, she told me that a couple of years ago, she felt that she was not attracted to guys. She said that she could not find a common language with them, and they did not attract her outwardly. After, she seriously thought about it and noticed that when viewing clips or fashion magazines, she was attracted to girls. I like their grace, plastic hair, voice. I like everything. They are very sexy, and I was not afraid to admit it to myself, she said. She told her mother about it and didn't regret it because her mother supported the choice. Of course, not immediately. We had conflicts. We did not talk for a long time. My mother was angry and then she cried, but in the end she accepted me for who I am. She said I was still her daughter in any situation, Jill recalled. After our conversation with her, we did not meet, no. I knew we were close in spirit, but my feelings were different from hers. For example, when watching the same clips, I didn't look at girls. I looked at men, just not with the sense of attraction. It was something else. It wasn't until later that I realized I wanted to be a man too. This was unexpected, but first thoughts even a little scared me. And every day I thought more and more about this idea, and after a while, it became obsessive. This was manifested first in clothing. I bought men's jeans, shirts, t-shirts. The dress was wide and hung slightly on my figure, but I liked it. Then I decided to change my hair. My hair was long, and I always tied it in a bun or ponytail. My mother did not allow them to be cut, so that my sister and I would have the same length. But I went to the barber shop and got my hair cut like a boy's. This was not enough. Later, I bought men's perfume and accessories. Well, my image was basically ready. You should have seen my mother's face when I appeared to her like this. My mother is a real lady. She always knew how to cook and walk in high heels. When she had twins, she wanted to go out or go shopping with her two beautiful daughters so that all eyes would be on the three of us. But those were her plans, not mine. My mother threatened to deprive me of my pocket money if I didn't change my image. I refused. So one of our scandal was replaced by another. She really stopped giving me money for school, but my beloved sister helped out. She shared her money with me. My classmates were very surprised by the new me. Teachers even called my parents to school to find out how things were in the family and what could affect me. Mom and Dad just shrugged their shoulders. Well, they really didn't know why this was happening. As time passed, I realized that this image was not enough for me. It was decided that it was time to have sex reassignment surgery. I read about it on the internet. It turns out that this is a complex and lengthy procedure that lasts for years. Preparation alone takes 2 to 3 years, and all this is very expensive. Of course, I was upset because I am only 13 years old. Where did I get such money from? And my mother is hysterical about style, not like changing gender. I became depressed. I felt out of place. My body became irritating. My twin was the only one I talked to about it. She offered to tell my mom and dad about it. I just laughed and reminded her of my mother's last tantrum. My sister said she would take care of it. I asked her why she was helping me so much, and all she said was that she loved me and she wanted to make me happy. Our parents are unlikely to understand this, and most likely that Mom's tantrum will only seem like a prelude. And my father will want to kill us, but I'm sure in the end they will accept your choice, as I did. What's wrong with wanting to be who you want to be? I'm proud of you, sister, or brother, the twin said, laughing. In the end, everything turned out as we expected, and after thousands of conversations and tears, my parents accepted my choice and agreed to help. I've already started saving money for the operation.
Do you think you can buy happiness? But at what price? I tried it once, and I admit it almost cost me my life. I'm Steve. I'm 44, and I'm a drug addict, I said when I went to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Oh yeah, it happens. For as long as I remember, I've been trying to change my life. For example, when I was a schoolboy, I came home every day after school. I didn't go out with my friends. I didn't try to meet girls. I went straight home. I knew that my mother was waiting for me at home and that she needed me. I would open the front door, drop my book bag in the hallway, and go to my bedroom. My mother was always there, didn't go out, didn't like the neighbors. She kept saying that they just wanted something to gossip about. Already in the corridor, the sharp smell of alcohol hit my nose. The house was dark, even during the day, because the windows were always curtained. My mother didn't like it when people stared at our house. That's what she said. On the way to her room, I collected scattered items, sometimes bottles of cheap drinks. I wonder if she ever eats, I asked myself. I always brought her a dinner, but I took it away 2 hours later, untouched. But there were plenty of empty bottles. As long as the house had at least some money from her grandfather's inheritance, she ordered alcohol delivered to the house. Are you home yet? She asked me. Yes, Mom, I would say to her and go to my room. This is my little kingdom. I always remembered the time when my father came home from work. My mother cooked a delicious dinner and called me from the street. The three of us would sit down at the table, thank God for everything we had, and only then would we start eating. God gives, God takes, as they say. But why was all this taken away from me? My father left us for another woman, and since that time has never called. My mother could not bear the betrayal and began to drink. First, once a month, then every day. I still tried to be a good son for her sake. I thought maybe she would remember me and return to being the same caring mother. I was wrong to hope. I was 24 when she died of cirrhosis of the liver. Imagine the funeral was just me. It was awful to bury a single close to you, but still alone. I didn't know how to go on living, how to deal with the emptiness. Now I was completely alone. One morning someone rang the doorbell, and when I opened it, no one was there, and there was a flyer on the ground that said pain vaccine, and there was a message inside. Great minds have invented a vaccine for pain. This mental analgesic was quickly spread throughout the city among the local residents, but it did not go beyond its borders. The elders decided to keep the recipe a secret in order to become immortal and absolutely happy. So it was at first. Everyone could only envy them, and with the most real envy, they did not care about anything: the death of a neighbor, unhappy love, humiliation of honor and dignity, mistakes, insults, or quarrels. They were absolutely happy, forgetting about the wounds that can't be cured with skin antiseptic, wounds that don't heal. They figured out how to sew them up. Want to know how? Come. Then there was an address and location. To be honest, I didn't think for a long time this is what I needed. In the evening, I packed up and went to the indicated place. It was creepy unsociable. Then there was the door to the bunker. At this time, a guy came up. We looked at each other and realized that we were both going to the same event. He rang the doorbell, and I noticed a cool ring on his finger. My father gave it to me when I came of age. It's a family heirloom, he said, noticing my curious look. I felt awkward. They opened the door for us. It was quite cozy inside. A pleasant-looking girl stood at the entrance. She led us into the hall. There were several other people sitting there. We were all different: old men, women, and men. The only thing they all had in common was that their wounds didn't heal. A couple of minutes later, a middle-aged man came out to us. He immediately began to talk about his life, about the loss he had suffered, how lonely he felt, and how the pain vaccine had helped him. The sense of invincibility has given me the advantages in life that I am dealing with now. I have my own business, house, car, but the main thing is that I'm protected from everything that can harm, he said. I listened carefully and understood, and this is exactly what I needed. It is enough to please someone, to take responsibility for the sins of my parents, to blame myself for my own existence, for all the strikes that I received from my drunken mother. That's enough. At the end of the meeting, this man handed out questionnaires to all of us and asked which of us wanted to try the vaccine. The guy with the ring and I both raised our hands. The rest decided to think about it. I was told to come back in a week, and that dude was supposed to stay. After 7 days, I returned to this bunker. The man made the speech again. When everyone was gone, Jack, that was his name, invited me to dinner. We went into the dining room. He promised to let me try the vaccine. The vaccine was invented by my ancestors. We help those in need become happier because we know the value of happiness and know what grief is. I would like to continue the work of my great-grandfathers to help people free themselves, Jack said. He poured the same vaccine into my glass and told me to drink it down. It tasted like ordinary wine. I felt nothing but a little dizzy, and Jack immediately said that the effect would come later. We continued eating. I felt more and more dizzy. After my ancestor invented the vaccine, people started asking for more and more. They didn't know the measure. Over time, carelessness was replaced by indifference. Then came cynicism and coldness. Everything was devalued feelings, the taste of victory, empathy, fear of loss. But they forgot about the balance. Because there is no day if there is no night. Without yin, there is no yang. Happiness is not only good, but also bad. Without the terrible, the beautiful loses its uniqueness and beauty. Yes, Steve? He asked. I suddenly choked on my meat. I came across something solid. I spat it into my hand and saw the ring. Disgust, mixed with horror, came up in my mouth. Jack smiled and shouted that he was God and would restore the balance in the world, that he would punish all the unrighteous who wanted free happiness and rid the world of sinners. He grabbed a knife and tried to attack me, but I barely dodged, grabbed the candlestick, and hit Jack on the head. Then I ran out into the street before his assistants arrived. To my good fortune, the police came by. It turns out that the vaccine is a drug that cultists use to pump into people and then eat them. They thought of themselves as sort of keepers in this dirty world. I recovered from the shock and realized that happiness never comes for free. But I never got rid of my drug addiction.